This is Paula bringing you the translation of The Drops of Inspiration by Ricardo Melo. Today's drop is about criticism, aggressiveness, or a gift. Good morning, my dear friends. With today's drop, I'd like to talk to you about a critical issue. Here in The Drops of Inspiration, we never talk openly about receiving criticism, except being criticized. What's the attitude that we learn from the higher spiritual world, from the masters who wisely teach us how to deal with being criticized? Firstly, undoubtedly, being criticized is, for most of us, and for me as well, as I join the crowd, difficult to accept because of our ego. This craze of craving we have to please everyone, to get approval, to be indulged and pampered. Of course, it causes us great harm. It renders us enormously vulnerable. However, we do run into people who disagree with us at some point, especially if it's someone we know, a relative who hits us where it hurts. Who can possibly like that? We say, "This person let me down. Listen to what my daughter said about me. This is what he said about my food. Just listen to what she said about my job." These comments upset us because they often show that we could have done better, but we didn't. Mind you that I'm talking about fair and proper criticism. However, oftentimes we know that criticism is not fair because it's incongruous, inconsistent, and not rarely some people criticize others out of jealousy. That happens a lot. Whatever the reason, jealous people tend to speak out their projection as they judge something that any one of us mistakenly done. Therefore, we'll always be subject to judgment from others around us, whether this judgment means fair or unfair criticism, whether it's consistent, coherent, expresses gentle care and zeal instead of caustic or toxic criticism. In fact, all of us who wish to develop spiritually must learn how to handle these situations. Don't you think so? And that's where the right attitude lies. Do you think it's easier to control who criticizes you or to learn how to care for your ears and your heart? I believe I'd better care for my ears and my heart. Just as I'm sure you have, I've learned from our spiritual friends that criticism is extremely welcome, even when it's not offered generously or compassionately, even when it's expressed by someone we might believe it's envious or caustic. Why is it welcome? For many reasons. Firstly, if someone criticizes us and they are right, regardless of how they do it, it's a gift they are giving us. Don't you think so? And why is it a gift? Because this someone is being brave enough to tell us something that maybe our friends and those who love us wouldn't, because they are afraid to upset us. Okay, maybe they are doing it not very appropriately, but it's a matter of these people dealing with their conscience and with God. We must know how to filter things off, brush off the inappropriateness and the ego issues. That's not easy, but we have to practice doing this. Retrieve only the good part of criticism, which will raise our awareness and help us to learn how to develop, how to trail our path. Because we are imperfect beings. We are on earth. No one here is perfect. We are all liable to make mistakes. How good it is to have someone to show us the way. An analogy of this situation is someone who is driving and is about to go the wrong way or take a wrong shortcut that can be dangerous, or might get to a place that is not at all where they wanted to go. Suddenly, someone comes and says, "Hey, don't go in there. Look, pay attention. You can get in there. You can't stop there. You mustn't park there," or something like that. You may not like the way these people talk to you, but guess what? They might prevent you from hitting a car, falling into a hole, or getting into other types of trouble. So that's good criticism. So if it's true, we take advantage of it. You might reply, but that's an untruthful person, Ricardo. Okay, you have a great opportunity to develop your moral highness by forgiving, by not criticizing the person the same way he or she did to you. You develop tolerance as you understand that unfortunately, anyone may become the target of others' lack of wisdom. And you particularly develop your prudence and become cautious so as not to do with others what they are doing to you. This is in case criticism is deceptive. Why is that? Many times we replicate others' behaviors. What does it mean to be a blabbermouth? They are people who carelessly talk about other people's life, often without knowing if what they are saying is true, for the sheer pleasure of telling yet another story. Who has never experienced this? We have to be very careful. Why? Because when gossip hits the internet or the WhatsApp or becomes hearsay, we lose our senses. Hey Paul, do you know what happened? My friend, have you heard what happened to this person? Why do gossip magazines still sell so much? Because of our inclination to talk about other people's lives. So let's be careful, my friends, because we are often concerned about the stones that are thrown at us. The danger is not the stones we are hit with, but the stones we throw at others. Because when the evil hits us, but humbly aimed at developing faith, learning, somehow evil will help us to grow spiritually through the focus on an inner spiritual improvement. I'm not saying you should be a passive person, but we can surely benefit from active and cautious learning. The problem is when the evil originates from us. Don't you think so? The problem is when we generate unfounded and absurd criticism. We are not being compassionate if we speak out what we think about someone, about a particular situation or association, whatever it may be. Often, what we do is blurt out the bile that plagues our soul, rather than transforming that bile into love or at least into understanding, and offering truthful discourse in a more appropriate way. If you pick up a valuable diamond and throw it at someone's face, nobody will want it because it will hurt. But if you put this diamond inside a box and make it a gift, people will thank you for the diamond they are receiving. So, my dear friends, let's watch our attitude. If we are going to criticize someone, let's be careful and zealous and ponder if we hold the moral authority to do that. If we are really doing much better, then that someone we judge as being wrong. Secondly, if we still believe we must talk, let's talk carefully, affectionately, respectfully about the fact itself, but not generalizing the other's behavior. And third, let's be careful so that we don't ridicule anyone in public, for that's unfortunately what many people do. And if we receive any criticism, let's thank God for the learning that the other is providing us with. And if it's deceitful, unfounded criticism, let's see it as a good thing, that at least we were not the ones who did that. And let's pray very fondly for who expressed such aggressiveness. I really mean it, because at least you're coming out of muddy waters. The problem is the one whose aggressive attitude is leading him or her into them, and we don't know how long he or she will remain there. That's the point we must bear in mind, isn't it? May Jesus bless us and inspire us through one more day. Share the drops of inspiration with your contacts. Let's spread light and peace. May God be with you, my friends.